What up, guys? Welcome to episode 2 of the Entropia Universe Guides. I'm still trying to come up with a decent name. I have no idea. But, alright, so in this episode we're going to be going over the most common activity in Entropia, which is hunting. Now, hunting, it's exactly how it sounds. You get a weapon, you go out and hunt monsters, you get loot from said monsters, and then you either make a profit or you don't, or you break even. It's basically how it goes. Sometimes you can find some cool weapons or cool items that you'll be able to add to your own repertoire. But the guys I'm going to be showing you today, this is for the newbie players. This is sort of how to get kind of started, I guess, in a way. Alright, so we're going to be going with a flat, sort of standard, easy hunting. Basically, we're not going to be using any armor because the creatures we're going to be hunting are very, very low level. There's no need for armor. You know, there's absolutely no need for armor with these guys. You don't even really have to heal that much if you don't want to. It just all saves on cost. And we're going to go off of the idea that right now we only have 10 Planet Entropia dollars to play with. Okay. Now, if you've only got 10 Planet Entropia dollars to play with, there isn't a whole hell of a lot you can do hunting-wise when it comes to different sorts of weapons. You can't really do any Mind Force. You can't really do any Mind Force stuff. You can't really do any melee. You can do some melee, but not a lot. I know a lot of people talk about the eco situation when it comes to melee versus ranged. But at the end of the day, it all depends on what you want to do. If you want to be a swordsman, go with a sword of some kind. But I believe this one is, it's a bit pricier. It's a little bit pricier, so you're paying a little bit extra. But what we're going to be going with today is we're going to be going with we're going to be going with which one is more efficient. If you look up here, has the efficiency. Now the rifle is not as efficient as the pistol, so we're going to be going with the pistol. Now you don't have to look at the efficiency as much. You do if you want to get a little bit, like if you want to hunt for specifics, but today we're just going to be hunting specifically to get skills, to get experience, and to sort of figure out what these guys drop. I already know what these guys tend to drop and how frequently they drop, but this is what we're going to be going with. So we're going to be spending the $3 or the 3 Planet Entropia dollars on this, and we're going to be spending the last 7 PED on ammo. One more, there we go. Now, before we get into the hunt, we're going to start with kind of a basic strategy of how we should apply stuff. So what you want to do is you want to go up to the L, edit panel, and you go over to the keyboard. You click on the keyboard. You go into your weapons. You drag the weapon over the number that you want it to be hotkeyed to. It's going to save a lot of faffing about, okay? So you save it there, and then you can drag this out. So if you've got multiple weapons and you want to figure out which ones you want to be using at any given point, you just switch them out before you hunt and all that jazz. So if we were to now press 2, we automatically equipped the weapon. Now as you can see, even though we bought 70,000 rounds of ammo, we've only got 593 shots. That is because the weapons use X amount of ammo per shot. So the pistol, the straight trade terminal pistol, uses 118 rounds of ammo per shot. Does 2.5 to 5 damage, and it's quite quick. So we're going to be going with the pistol. We're not going to be going with any armor. Alright? There's no point going with armor for the creatures that we're going to be hunting. Now, the important thing that we should also realize is there are two ways to hunt. You have the standard conventional hunt, which is just go out, shoot, kill, money, 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 never going to stop. Just go out and pew pew. The other way to hunt is to sweat hunt or swant. I will go over sweating briefly before we get into the hunt to give you an estimation of how much you'll get in return. Now this will not be the same for all the time, right? But essentially, when you're going to sweat hunt, you want to find a relatively low level mob. You want to use your vibrant sweat extractor, which is here. You should also hotkey it to your keyboard. Find a relatively low mob, and just to give you a bit of an idea, we're going to change a few things. We're going to be going into we're going to be enabling loot windows. Now you can disable loot windows so there's not as much clutter, but we're going to enable the loot window. So you just aim it at a mob, at a creature. We're aiming it at these guys because these are the guys we're going to be hunting. And we're going to try to grab some sweat. Now you can sweat these guys dry, or you can do it until you get one successful pull of sweat. Or you can be like me and pull multiple creatures towards you. Let's just hope we can pull this. Okay, so we're able to pull 4 bottles of sweat. We'll just place this over here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to straight up murder these guys. I'm just going to murder both of them for sake. So in that one, we got 4 bottles of sweat and 2.6 peck worth of shrapnel, which you can turn into ammo. And with that one, we got a Calypso bone fragment and a low piece of shrapnel. I have a theory on how the loot system works. I believe that any given creature has a percentage value to it. A percentage loot value. So basically, if you were to, let's say this one there is 70% of money spent while killing, and this one is, say, 150. This will give you 70% return, this one will give you 150% return. That's just a theory. That's just an idea based on I've used weapons that are way, way, way overpowered for these guys that, cost like 20 peck to shoot, and I would get back far more than I usually do. So it's just an estimate. So we're going to hunt these guys to see what the average loot sort of thing is. $231. Now you got to also remember that while you're hunting, you're also going to be getting skills that will increase your efficiency with a lot of different weapons and things like that. Increasing those skills will also increase things like health. And increasing health is very, very important because more hit points means that you can get hit more without dying or even needing to heal. So it's always a plus. So what we're going to be doing in this video is we're going to be hunting. Now, the loot box can be very, very annoying. I'm not a big fan of the loot box, but we're going to keep it here just for visualization's sake, to see what we get. And most new players will have that loot box pop up. So we're going to have it this way, just for this video. Whenever I do my own personal hunts, I'm going to be getting rid of the loot window. and it will just be coming up over here saying, you know, oh, you got X amount of head worth of crap. So essentially, what you want to look at when hunting is if you're trying to figure out what they have. See, that was a little bit better. If you're trying to figure out exactly what sort of loot they have, just go around and kill a bunch. You know, have a fresh inventory, kill a bunch, figure out what they got, and then figure out whether or not they're worth hunting. Like en masse, right? So if you find these guys drop a specific item that sells really well on the auction house, you keep that item, you stack that item, and then you sell it on the auction house when you have enough to make it, you know, interesting. I think the most these guys have are they occasionally drop a rifle, they have the Calypso bone sample, they have animal muscle oil, and they have shrapnel. They occasionally drop a few other things, Belcar fragment and Nova fragments, which are used to upgrade unlimited weapons to tier them up. But beyond that, there is not much point to these guys. Animal muscle oil is not. It doesn't sell well. It sells well, but you need a lot of it, and yeah, we'll have a look. So this is basically the main loot that you're going to get from these guys. If we look at the market value, you can sell it for 104% approximately on the auction house. I'll talk about the auction house in a later video. So you need a lot for it to make any real difference, right? Because these guys they're only 3 PEC, you know, 0.03 PEDs per item. So if you have, say, let's say, even if you have 10,000, if you have 10,000, you know, if you have 10,000, it might be worth selling on the auction house, maybe, to get that little bit extra. But in the long run, you're not going to hunt these guys enough to get that level of quantity. So there's no real point. Some people though, some smart people will post in the chat down here saying buying animal muscle oil at 101 or 102% markup. And they'll buy of any quantity. Generally, they'll buy it at least a value of $1, one Planet Entropia dollar. So they'll buy, they'll buy around, like 30, 40. Yeah. So with this loot, got a little bit more. But not what we're going to do. We're going to be switching. Now, we're going to be switching over to the non-loot box. If you guys want to know how to do it, you go to options, you go to HUD, disable loot windows. And now if you observe, I'll just put this shit over here. If you observe top left part of the screen, after I loot this guy, it's just going to pop up with what I got. So 0.04, so 4 cent, 4 Planet Entropia cent. 4 pack, 2 pack. You can gauge the value of what comes up, and you can also see and read the stuff that you get. That one was 3. So essentially, you'll do this until you've run out of all your ammunition. Let's find a cluster of them. If we can find a cluster of them, this will be a little bit quicker. So you want to go through and you want to use up all your ammunition then you want to go back to the trade terminal and sell everything, including the gun, to see how much you get back. Now you can do this a few times. Have a buffer of, say, 2 PED, and you could do this a few times, write it down, get an idea of how much you get in return. If on average, if you're able to average out at a profit, awesome. If you're able to average out on par, then that's good. If you average out lower, maybe find a different mob to hunt. These guys are averaging out pretty low. Like really low. Like stupid low. At the moment. But I usually hunt other stuff. And at a lot quicker of a rate. See, that one wasn't too bad. I mean, these are just peanuts, all right? You're not gonna get a lot of. You're not gonna get a 100 PED global. You're not gonna get a loot worth 100 PED. You're gonna get something. If you're lucky, you might get something worth 5 PED that you consider a small global for yourself. You might get even something like 2.5, 3 PED. That can be considered a very, very small global for yourself. It won't be a public global, but it's a small global for yourself. One thing to keep in mind when hunting is there are 2 ways to hunt. You can go along and just kill and loot, and that is, that's fine. But you can also sweat while you're hunting. In the beginning, I think you should definitely try sweat hunting, because it'll be a little bit more eco. It'll be a little bit more economical. You'll get a little bit of you'll get a little bit of extra on top of what you get. Say these guys take. Say I can kill 100 of these guys, say I can kill 100 of these guys with 7 to 8 ped, like using 7 to 8 ped, right? And say I using the 10 ped, say I get back 9. If I was to sweat them all, I would have got an extra 1.7 PEDs on top of $1.70 Planet Entropia dollars on top of what I already got in sweat. So there are ways to hopefully skim just a little bit of a profit. Just a little bit of a profit. Not a big profit, but just a little bit of a profit. There are ways to potentially do it. But swanting takes a long time. It takes a long time. When you level up your sweating skill, you get a little bit more efficient. You can sweat faster. From what I know, the more levels you have in sweating, the more efficient you are with the Vibrant Sweat Extractor, and the more pulls you can get per minute, on average. So this is essentially what you want to do. And once you've worked your way down to no ammo, then you're going good. You can go back to the trade terminal and sell everything. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. Now, I don't want to take up a lot of your time. I'm going to do an actual hunting video at some other point, but these are the basics to hunting. You don't really need a healing item for the low-level mobs. You don't really need armor for the low-level mobs. You don't need a strong weapon for the low-level mobs. You really don't. You just gotta shoot them. If you want to be a little bit more eco, you sweat them dry and then you kill them. If you want to just be faster, you just want to rack up the skills as quickly as possible, then you just keep shooting, shooting, shooting. And if you can find a big mob and you could just keep going, then that will go a long way to helping skill yourself up. So we'll head back and we'll just have a look, get a rough estimate of stuff. But it looks like, let's see, about 4.4, about 5.4, 6.4. Okay, so we're going to have a look and see how things go. So let's say, theoretically, you've finished your hunt. You come over to the trade terminal, and you look at everything you got, right? Because there's a chance you can find a gun which you can then put on the auction house. But let's say this was, just trash. Same with the gun, the ammo, and that. So let's say it stayed about the same, right? We're losing about 1 PED, right? Let's say that was how it happened. You went out, you hunted everything, and you used up 1 PED. Let's say you used up, you lost 1.5 PED. And let's say you were able to kill about 100 creatures. If you were to sweat them dry, you would have gotten enough sweat to break even. That's why I think when you sweat, when you're hunting at a low level, you should probably do a little bit of sweating, even if it's just to get the sweating skill up. There's no harm in getting those skills up. So yeah, that's the basics of hunting. Just go out there, do what you can, be a little bit economical as well. So let's recap. Don't use armor, like for the low mobs. Don't use armor. No need to heal. Sweat them dry if you can, and if you have the patience, sweat them dry. And also, one other thing, keep a lookout on the ground for fruit and stone. Fruit and stone you can sell, so keep a lookout for those stuff, alright? If you enjoyed the video and you want to see more tutorial type stuff, just, subscribe, tell me down below. If there's anything specific you want me to talk about, then yeah. I'll do another, I'm going to be just doing some basic hunting videos and stuff over the next couple of days, so I'm not going to be doing any tutorial-esque stuff. I'm just going to be, just general hunting for funsies. It's going to be good. Alright. Hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one.